of the protest and when the state and all these attack dogs were growling after them in the immediate aftermath. And I know her, Mary, and she's a very dedicated, honest, patriotic young Nigerian, just a struggling young woman, a tennis coach. One of the strokes of machete stroke almost slashed off her wrist. She's a semi-professional tennis player. That's how she earns her living. Those who play tennis at the VGC club, they all know her. She's a coach there. They stopped her at the bus stop, her own account. And they shone light in her eye and say, okay, you're the one. You say, two people won't stop. Okay, you'll be going, when you reach where you are going. And then they started cutting her. Machetes on a young lady, just a scrawny little woman. And they were slashing her, 3 men. I should look at the bus stop there. All she ever did was to stand up, because let's be clear about something. Those who died that night, whether that is 1, 2, how many it might be, the panel has found, I believe, that 11 people died. People can cut and dice and dissect and dissemble and lie all they want, faced with each other. Look, in that panel, they're shouting about there's a retired DIG on that panel. It's a unanimous decision of the panel. It's not like there was a minority report. They all agreed. The facts are established. So all these noises that they are making left, right, and center, it is up to the Nigerian people to determine the extent of what the responses should be. But let's not be arguing those ones again. So cutting that young woman, I believe it was clear that they intended to kill her. You don't go slashing someone to the point of cutting to the bone. And she was using that hand to duck. That was why the cut was that deep.
Got the cut. Mr. Farasimi, just a second. I think we're getting some feedback from your earpiece. So we'll take a quick break and fix that, and then we'll come back. All right? Stay with us.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am.
If you no talk, then go beat you.
Now 2,500 and they pay.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on PlusTvAfrica.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the result of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I am not hungry. If I need appointment, all I need to do is to start praising government.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say. The moment we stop having charlatans occupy political offices, we will curtail hate speech.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
Thank you for staying with us. It's still Plus Politics. We still have Dele Farotimi joining us as we speak on the recent developments of the NSAS protests, the aftermath of the release and presentation of the panel, the Lagos panel's report to the governor. Now, Mr. Farotimi, before we went on that break, we're still talking about Kamsi and her attack. I quickly just want to ask, why do you think that these people are being targeted? Don't forget, Mr. Adegboruwa has said that he feels that the people who are threatening him are agents of government. And Kamsi also is thinking in that same direction. Why do you think that these people are being targeted? What would be the end game?
Listen, back in February this year, I was fortunate to become privy to a plot to murder me. I wrote 2 petitions. One was addressed to the director of the DSS in Lagos State. The second was addressed to the Lagos State Commissioner of Police. I mentioned the names of 2 persons who were involved in that plot. I never disclosed the names of these persons to the press, and I do not intend to, in order not to scandalize anybody. But I made a report in writing to both agencies of government. I believe about a month later, the DSS got in touch with my lawyers to inform my lawyers that that would be a responsibility for the police and that they wouldn't be getting involved in that. The police, I believe, got in touch almost 2 months later and asked me to come and adopt my petition, which I did. This is, I believe, 9 months later, after the petition was written. I have not received a single phone call from the police, and even if one were to be sent to me now, I do not intend to honor it, because I now believe that there is a confluence of power in Lagos State that is determined to keep the truth of what happened at the Lekki toll gate as quiet as it can possibly be, even if that means killing people. Now, if I will put my name to 2 petitions and take it to these agencies of government, and I'm saying to you that as I sit here today, these have not been deemed serious enough to warrant any investigation in Lagos State. And then someone like Kamsi, who was kept in safe houses, along with other people who ended up testifying at the panel. Now that they have gone back to their homes, people are going after them. And with Kamsi, she was slashed with machetes. She's alive today for the grace of God. And then those who went to check her in the hospital yesterday, got there, and when they came downstairs to get into their own cars, they found an envelope containing what is evidently clear threats to their own lives as well. And then let's tell ourselves the bare truths here. No matter how much we might seek to normalize these insanities that have become part and parcel of our lives as a people, the reality is that high government officials in this country today have committed themselves to keeping the truth of what happened at Lekki hidden. Let's be clear about something. These charges are grievous enough to lead to Ramimba, an organization to which I belong, the Radical Agenda in the Nigerian Bank, to be making categorical demands that if we are indeed in a democracy, and it has been established that the army was called out on the night of the 20th of October, and there were citizens at that toll gate. They were sat on the floor, holding flags, and they were shot at, even if it was only one person that was killed. The governor, I believe, first said there was one, and then he said there was two. The panel has said that there are 11. And there are sufficient testimonies from doctors, Granville Medical Center, Reddington in Lekki. People have come out to tell us that they treated bullet wounds coming out of that toll gate. They are witness testimonies. LCC has studiously refused to turn over the recordings at that toll gate that would clearly tell the truth of what happened that night. And people have committed, the Minister for Information, that is the spokesperson for our country, the person who is speaking for Nigeria, is denying the humanity of those that were killed in that place. Why does the truth become an offense in this country? Why? Why can't, is it too much to admit that, look, a mistake has been made here? Not necessarily that it's a mistake. We all know it's not a mistake. This is not the first time the Nigerian state will kill, and it's still killing on a daily basis. But this one, you've been caught fair and square. This is not happening in, it hasn't happened in Zaria. There is a live feed. The Zaria one is bad enough, 340-something human beings, I believe, 347 or so. That's something a panel of inquiry established. They are not even arguing that one anymore. It's about minimizing the numbers. So it's not something new. It's not something new. But this one, you can't keep denying this, because the more lies they're telling, the more they're having to tell, and eventually there would have to be a recourse to fascism, because those of us who know the truth of war, I spoke to survivors. I'm not going to accept these lies you are telling and help you normalize it. And it's not going to end killing any one of us or injuring people, threatening people. It won't change anything.
But can I come in here quickly? And yes, I'm not in any way trying to hold brief for the government of Lagos State or any of those people. But could this also be that the people who are carrying out these threats, or those who lynched or tried to kill Kamsi, could have been some imposters or people who are overzealously supporting governments at whether the state level or the federal government? Because we saw a pro-government group when the protests were going on last year. And we saw the same people sometime this year too. So could it be the handiwork, I'm just asking, of people who are probably overzealously trying to support the government stand? It might not necessarily be the government, because I'm wondering, why would a government stupidly do a thing like that, knowing that there will be a blowback of sorts?
Let me put it this way. I would answer the last one first. Stupidity is in the nature of Nigerian governance. is nothing new. If our government and our governors, and I mean governors at all levels, the rulers of Nigeria, if they weren't stupid, we will not be the way we are. So let's leave that bit about being stupid first. But it's not an unfair question, and it's also not an unfair defense to raise on behalf of the government. And it's only fair to consider it. After all, life is predictably cheap in our environment. But the problem with that assumption or any such defense on behalf of the government would demand that we must ignore the evidence of our own heights. The evidence of our experiences must be ignored before we would go as far as to offer those excuses on behalf of government, even though we must retain that doubt as reasonable human beings as well. But consider this. I just told you that in February of this year, I became privy to a plan to kill me. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't that somebody was calling me to threaten me. No. Understand that I came to Lagos in 1985 at 17. So I've been in this town for some time. And I've moved around in this town for a while. I've lived in Lekki since 2002. I've been in the Lekki. I've been around. So I have all kinds of friends in all kinds of places. And I became privy to this, and it was alarming enough, and it was credible, exceedingly credible. I had names, I had venue, I have more than I have said. And I wrote a petition. I wrote to the DSS. I wrote, let me not overflog the issue, but suffice to say that months after, no action has been taken. So now, one of the persons who was already being threatened at the time, before they went before the panel, they were in hiding all over the place. When they were going before the panel, they were moving from safe houses. I was involved in this. I know these persons. I know the degree of danger that they were under and the kind of evasive actions that had to be taken to ensure their attendance at the panel. And then such a person now went back to her normal life. She's not somebody who is up and about the place, not some socialite. She then got up, as she was at a bus stop coming from her work, and then somebody shone light in her eyes and like, okay, you're the one going to the panel. It's not like, let's even like, okay, so maybe, perhaps, on behalf of the government, let's imagine that it's some mischief maker somewhere. Let's imagine that. But what do we do with what we already know? Interestingly, I'm not sure I've not shared a room with the gentleman ever. So I don't know him personally. But of course, I know him by his reputation. He's not a frivolous man. It might be many things. I don't agree with his politics, and I doubt that he agrees with mine. But facts are facts. Ebun came out to categorically say that he's being threatened. I didn't have the benefit of hearing threats. I became privy to a plan. And each and every one of the persons around me in the last year plus, I've had occasion to take all kinds of evasive actions and countermeasures in relation to their security. We have to ask ourselves, even if we are saying maybe it's not the government sponsoring it, whose responsibility is it to protect the citizens?
That leads to my next question, because I was going to ask. I mean, there was a meeting yesterday that some of you attended, speaking on this same issue. Going forward, who's going to guarantee the safety of these people? Because like this issue is about.
The beautiful thing about standing by the truth is that it does not require any embellishment. You don't need to do anything to help the truth to stand tall. If you're telling the truth, you also don't need to remember what you said last year. because it's constant. That the truth might not appear popular is deceptive. Nigerians were told denials, all these lies. The more they do it, the happier I am. I, as a person, I have never been happier in my life. I am seeing the Nigerian state telling barefaced lies that we unravel over time. It doesn't matter whether we live or die. Everybody will die eventually. Nobody is going to cow us or get us to... I'm not going to run out of Nigeria. Nobody is running from anybody. If we've committed a crime, let the Nigerian state charge us with that crime. It is the duty of the state to protect us, but we are also not sitting ducks. We haven't survived as long as we have by being stupid. And you don't go announcing the security measures you take to the whole world. Suffice to say that we will not be sitting ducks. Our people know who is who, like the ones who were busy plotting the stupid thing in February. They understand. You can do these things when you are not known. When you are known, when you do, you get done too. That's the way it is. So not that somebody will now sit down somewhere. Nobody can be threatening anybody. We are not running anywhere for anyone. The police has a duty to protect Nigerians. When they are done with their partisanship, they will still remember their primary duty. It's not up to us. It's up to the state to protect us as citizens.
But Mr. Lai Mohammed just recently, he somewhat made a joke of, everything that has been said. Every Nigerian was earnestly waiting for the federal government to speak on this issue, and they kept saying that the panel's reports may not necessarily be presented to the federal government. They might not have a hand in it, etc., etc. But today, Mr. Mohammed is calling it tails by to be answerable, and who were in a part of this, if they're all supposed to be answerable, and the federal government is speaking in this regard, will it ever do anything for, to make this?
The true joke, the joke is Mr. Lai Mohammed, is not the panel's report. The true joke is Mr. Lai Mohammed. It's a joke. It's a joke because I might be the only Nigerian who wasn't holding my breath waiting for him to talk, because it was always predictable what he would have to say. They've been saying the same thing they've been saying in different varying positions for the last 1 year. They have no choice. As long as they have to continue pretending that we are a democracy, they cannot hold up to what they have done. But they will not always remain in power. Men come and go. Seasons end. Muhammadu Buhari will leave power in 2023. He does not have the capacity to own up to what he did. None of them would dare to own up to what they did. They committed crimes. That was what they did. And they have to keep lying. And let's be clear about something, because some of us tend to get this twisted. The international community is clear. They know what happened. They know what happened, but it is not in their own interest to also admit to what they know. So those of us who are demanding the truth, we're not demanding the truth expecting that anybody will come and join us to demand the truth from our government. They will not. We also do not expect that every Nigerian would accept, because a lot of people would prefer that we kept quiet and life just returns to normal for them. I don't know exactly what normalcy. What normalcy? What is normal about the way we live? I don't know. But some of us have committed our lives to seeking this truth.
I'm curious.
They can attack.
I'm curious. I'm so sorry. Finally, before I let you go, are you saying that the government of Nigeria, and I'm talking about the government of Lagos State and every other state that had this protest, including the army and the police, risk sanctions from the international community for them to keep a tight lip? Because that's what you're saying. They may not ever tell the truth. This is what you're saying. I'm struggling to believe that this is what will happen, because we just had the Secretary of State for the United States visit, And then the undertone of that visit is that we may risk sanctions if human rights issues are not being addressed.
I would prefer to see sanctions issued by the Nigerian people. I'm not holding my breath waiting for America or Blinken or Mr. Boris Johnson or any one of the Western powers or China or anyone. I'm not expecting any one of them to do anything for us. They do not have the moral will to do the right thing in Africa. They are complicit in our mess. As long as the Nigerian government can continue to hold on to its bare-faced lies of nothing happened on the 20th, and they can cow people sufficiently, perhaps kill enough people to finally silence the demand for justice, the international community is happy with whatever we do to ourselves as long as we don't become refugees in their land. Why do you think America will not give? Look, as far as they're concerned, as long as the oil continues to flow and we have the stupid money to spend where we go and you buy something that you should buy for 100 million, you buy it for 1 billion, you borrow 2 billion, you share 10. They are happy with the way we are. I'm not interested in what the international community cares to do with the truth they already know. It is we Nigerians, we ourselves, who need to be interested in the truth because this life is transient. We will go someday. What kind of country do we expect to bequeath to our children? One where it is normal for policemen and soldiers to kill civilians and then have government officials come out and deny that they did it? Is that the kind of country we want to live when we are gone?
Well, I guess that's a question that we'll all have to marinate on. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dilip Farotimi is a political analyst. Thank you for being part of the conversation. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you all for staying with us. Still on Plus Politics. Coming up, former governor of Imo State, Emeka Ihedioha, declares his intention to run for office again. But many people are not happy. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll discuss.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on Plus TV Africa.
A week after the former governor, Emeka Ihedioha, reportedly declared his intention to seek re-election as Imo State governor come 2023, traditional rulers and political stakeholders of the 3 senatorial zones in the state have requested that the former governor be interrogated for allegedly violating the provisions of the Electoral Act. Ihedioha had previously vowed to return as governor in Imo State come 2023. He said that no one would discourage him from his journey to actualize his dream. Well, joining us to discuss this is AIC Akwarandu. He's a policy analyst. Thank you very much, AIC, for joining us. Can you hear me? Well, we're going to try to get Akwarandu back to start this conversation quickly.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
AIC, it's good to have you join us. Thank you for being part of the conversation. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Mr. Akwarandu, can you hear me? I think you need to unmute yourself. Can you hear me? We're having connection problems with Mr. Akwarandu. Well, we'll take a quick break and bring you a report from Nigerians and how they feel about the NSAS situation. Stay with us.
There's nothing wrong in getting protection for them. But again, see, in Yoruba language, it says if you do not do something behind, as in something hidden, you shouldn't be scared. You should not be scared of, okay, if truly the lawyers came out to say the truth, you know, about whatever the investigation or whatever happens during the NSAS, which we all know or are aware of, you understand? I don't think they should be scared of maybe anybody threatening them. You understand? Or if there's anybody threatening them, they should be exposed.
See, what they did is very commendable. I mean, the panel, they did their constitutional duty, taking their time to find out the truth, and they are publishing the truth. And now they are getting threats. It's the responsibility of the government to protect them. So there is no, we don't even have to be discussing this at all. You understand? It should be the fundamental right. You understand? A threat to life under the constitution is a crime. So they have to be protected one way or the other by the government because they've done their job, a very good job for that matter. So there is no good saying about that. That's what should be done. That's what ought to be done.
It's necessary for them to be immune, because if they are immune, it will help them to be able to perform very well. And because of the insecurity nature of the country Nigeria we are, I believe if they are protected, it will also help them.
First of all, they are citizens of the country. The government should protect them. And it's a very, very sensitive issue that happened. And at this point, I think there's no reason why more lives should go down. Let's get to the bottom of it. Everybody should own their responsibilities, take actions for their responsibilities, and we move on from it. Simple apologies, reaching out to the families, because, I mean, people actually died. To be honest with you, people actually died. So let's stop these jokes about people not dying or whatnot, and then we can move on. If we know we want the next generation and the next two generations to know that we did the right thing as a government and as a people, then we should own up to the issues and face them.
Apologies for the connection hiccups. We're still being joined by AIC Akarandu, a policy analyst. We're still looking at the recent developments in Imo State, and of course, the former governor is saying that nothing is going to get in the way of him, actualizing his dream of being the governor of the state. But then we're hearing that religious leaders, leaders of thought in the state and even political stakeholders are saying that he has, one way or the other, contravened the Electoral Act. Do you agree with this position?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. The truth is that the state government is just looking for a diversionary measure. They want a situation where people can be distracted from the real issues so that questions can not be asked about what our pensioners are passing through since the last 2 years of this administration. They don't want people to notice that civil servants have been passing through one verification or the other since the past 2 years. They don't want anybody to ask about what is happening with the local government funds and other maladministration that is happening. That is why they are using Ihedioha as a distraction. And unfortunately for them, the people are not buying into that. Imolites are wiser. They have shown that they know what is happening, and they have shown that they cannot be deceived. Ihedioha has not declared for governorship. And if you listen to his speech very well, on that day, he said he didn't come for campaign. And there is no way one could have said that Ihedioha is violating electoral law. There is nothing like that. The Able Declaration was not a program of a political party. It was not organized by any political party. It was organized by a pressure group. And in that place that day, you have the chairman of both other political parties. I remember vividly, I saw the chairman of ABGA in Imo State. He spoke at that event. So it is insensitive for anybody to say that the program was organized by the PDP in the first place. It's all part of diversionary measures.
Okay, but
secondly, there is nothing stopping Ihedioha
quick question
from running for governorship come 2024.
Okay,
come 2023.
You just answered my question, because I was going to ask, does he really have an intention to run for governorship? And
yes, that is, he has. He has, but at the right time, he will let Ndimo know about his ambition. Because the truth as of today is that the vast majority of Ndimo are yearning for Ihedioha to come back. They want those things he started in his administration, that calmness they witnessed for 7 months.
What
the
things,
pensioners
what
that
things,
were being
what
paid,
things did
they
he
were
start?
in their homes receiving alerts.
I'm curious.
Without troubles.
According to
the civil servant.
Can you hear me? What things did
I can hear
what things did he start? Because I remember vividly while he was still
let me hear you. Let me hear you. What you say?
What you're saying, that the people of Imo are yearning for him to return to continue the things that he started. And I'm curious, what things did he start that he needs to continue?
That is what I'm telling you. That under 7 months, when Ihedioha was the governor, there was an absolute calmness. Confidence was restored among the people. Let me give you an instance. Within that period, there was an incident at Hobo where the police station was burned down. In less than 10 hours of that incident, Ihedioha was in Hobo to console with the family, to sympathize with the Nigerian police force, and to calm the situation in the area. That is leadership. But we have a situation where issues happen in Imo State. Over 24 hours, nobody says anything. No government talks. Unless the people continue to shout on social media before you can see government talk. As of today, there is a leadership vacuum that is being yet to be filled. And Imolites cannot wait for this administration to end so that they can vote in a responsible government that can fix their roads, and they know that these roads are fixed up to standard. Look at Port Harcourt Road. Look at Polydecker Junction. That was where Buhari commissioned when he was in Imo State.
Fixing of roads.
That place is almost impossible today.
Is that something that I should vote for a person? I mean, fixing of roads is what you should do with taxpayers' monies. It's not a project that I should be applauding you for.
Let me get you.
Is it also something that you put in a scorecard? Because I think we have misplaced priorities now. Fixing a road is the job of every single governor. Fixing a road is the job of every single governor because taxes are paid for those things to be done. It should not be a reason why I should vote a person in, because that's that person's responsibility, isn't it?
I am not at your question. I want to get you clearly.
You're making a case for fixing roads, and you're making, reference to River State roads. And I'm wondering to myself, fixing a road should not be a reason why I would vote a person into power, because originally that's their job. I pay taxes for that reason.
No. Let me educate you on that.
Quickly, before
because of the maladministration we have in Imo State under the APC leadership for the past 8 years, fixing a road has become a big deal for Ndimo. It's unfortunate because when you go to other states like River State, even Ebonyi State here, even Enugu, they have all gone above us. But today in Imo State, you will agree with me that for the past 9 years, we've had APC leadership in this state. We cannot boast of one particular road without pothole. And I want to be proved wrong. So that is why fixing a road has become a big deal for Ndimo. Because you need to fix the rural roads. You need to reduce rural-urban migration.
Okay.
So that somebody in the Hitu Burma does not need to come to Owerri to do business.
Okay.
Somebody in Olu does not need to come to Owerri to do business.
Okay.
Somebody in the Ahia Junction does not need to come to Owerri to do business.
Okay.
They can get what they want.
Mr.
They can access their rural roads.
Mr. Kwarandu,
And they have their local
we're
government
out of
functioning.
time. Unfortunately, we're out of time. This is because of the hiccups that we had with our connection, but we want to appreciate you. We're hopefully going to have you back to discuss more on this. AIC Akwarandu is a policy analyst and he's joining us from Imo State. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right. Well, thank you all for staying with us and being part of the conversation. We want to appreciate you. Don't forget, you can watch a replay if you missed the whole show on our YouTube channels at PlusTvAfrica and at PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I am Mariana Combe. Do have a good evening. See you tomorrow.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on PlusTvAfrica.
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Welcome to your favorite program, The Moment of Truth, brought to you by the Citadel Global Community Church. Our God is a God of salvation, far above all principality and power, and might and dominion, that regardless of what happens in this season, you will escape. Say to your neighbor, there is no peace for the wicked. The lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting, but diligence is a man's precious possession. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Moment of Truth with Pastor Tunde Bakare, Sundays, 7 p.m. on PlusTvAfrica.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly